Woohoo! Climb aboard. Do not miss the train. Oops, like someone did. Because this train is chucking it. 295 kilometers an hour. Not that one. That one's just getting sped up. That's the one we were on, though. Well, we're leaving Madrid now. Moving from Madrid's Chamartín station, which is the north station, and catching a Renfe Ave, which is going to go quite fast and get to Orense, which is way up here in Galicia. Follow my little yellow cursor there. And Orense is in Galicia. The coast of Galicia is just a little bit further that way. And let's zoom in a little bit. So this black line is Portugal, so we'll be really close to Portugal. And then from Orense, we're going to rent a car and go all the way to Monforte de Lemos. So it's not that far. It's about 40 minutes in a car. All right, 40 minutes in a car. So this is not the first 40 minutes. So we took some roads to practice navigating, listening to Google speak in Spanish, and talk about Spanish names, which had several names because they were also talking in Gallego. So after we got to Monforte de Lemos, one of the streets it took us on was this street. So I had to stop, have the camera pull out and record this because I felt like something out of a James Bond movie where they're chasing each other in little tiny cars through European streets. And then this in Monforte de Lemos, this was the most narrow road we were on, but future us didn't know how narrow they were going to get. It's quite interesting, quite fun, and I guess I know how to drive a stick again. Enjoy. So Monforte de Lemos is good for food, sights, and food. Okay, it's a little dark right now, but this is the key to go into our room here. This is the Parador of Monforte de Lemos. There's the cute little key. Where's the tongue? All right, let me turn you around so you can see the room. All right, so here's the room, and here's the key again. Now, it's a two-story room, so it's like going camping. So this is an old monastery, and I'll give you a tour of the rest of the monastery, which is outside that window. Okay, so our room is down this, or in this hallway with the stairs for some reason. But here's the cloister area. So it goes the whole way around, and I think these open. All right, here we are on the second floor, first floor. Oh, Salón de Lectura y TV. Sounds pretty impressive until you put TV on it. Ooh. And here we are on the bottom floor. So this is 1802 founded. So by Spanish standards, this is new. Wow, that's amazing. And here on the bottom floor, there's a bar behind me over here. You can see the bar there. And then there's a restaurant. And look at that fancy desk. It's quite a place. Right behind me is the tower that's associated with the Parador. And this is the Parador on that side. So not too shabby a place, is it not? And behind you, let me spin you around. That's Monforte de Lemos. So we're in a monastery and a fort. That's part of the fort part. That was to protect this town from somebody, invaders, Visigoths and things like that during the Reconquista, the reconquest of Spain. But some of these places, some of these things around here, Romans were here. You'll see some vines that were planted by Romans originally. But this is amazing. Yeah. And here we are at nighttime in this site in the Parador de Monforte de Lemos. Right here's a view from our steps of the Parador Monforte de Lemos and it's the Monastery of St. Vincent de Pino. All right, here's where we had to park last night down the street. What a view. We're renting an Opel Mocha, which is pretty fun. And I had to learn to drive a stick again. Well, in case my bumbling around trying to describe things I didn't quite know what I was talking about didn't do a good turn for this wonderful place, let me read what they say. Perched atop the historical hill of Monforte de Lemos in Galicia, the Parador de Monforte de Lemos is a majestic hotel housed within the 17th century monastery of San Vincent de Pino, offering sweeping views of the Ribeira Sacra valley. This architectural gem blends Baroque elegance with modern comfort, featuring vaulted stone interiors, tranquil cloisters, and a refined restaurant serving Galician cuisine. Guests can immerse themselves in the region's rich heritage, from wine tours and Romanesque churches to the town's Jewish quarter and railway museum, all while enjoying the serenity of a hilltop retreat steeped in history. Monforte de Lemos is situated on the Ribeira Sacra wine route, and for that reason there are several places to dine that are quite good. We ate at La Fabrica, which is a converted little factory of some sort, but good attention to detail, great food. We had the octopus, we had the scallops, all quite good. Oh, and we had there it is right there, the goulash, huevos rotos with goulash. So that's fried eggs over potatoes with eels on top. Yum, yum. All right, here we have scallops that are grilled sort of in a look like a high temperature fire. These look amazing, and we get to try them, and you don't. Ha ha ha! All right, this evening we are in Abbadia San Simon, which means the Abbey of Saint Simon. And we're in Monforte de Lemos still, Monforte de Lemos, and we're having some places they give you an appetizer without actually charging you for it. So here we're having a little tortilla de patata with a piece of jamón ibérico on there. That looks good, and it's a pincho, so it has a stick sticking out of it. And we're having some bread, and then eventually on here we will have some other things. We ordered scallops, and then we also ordered beef cheeks, one or the other, and we'll see how that goes. We might order something else. Aceite de oliva or olive oil with bread. Alrighty then. This is the beef cheeks, and those are potatoes, I believe. So it's that cow had quite a cheek. Is it like a Dixon cow or something? Brr. All right, there is the symbol for the Camino de Santiago. That's a shell. Here's that bridge we just walked across. Okay, from the bridge I saw all the symbolism. There's the cross of St. James. And so this is the Camino del Invierno, which is not the one that most people do, but it's the winter one. So there's the pilgrim there, and there's the incense. Is it open? All right, since my last recording, I've learned some things. This is part of the Camino de Santiago, but not the popular French way, the one that starts in France. This is a detour from that toward the end, because on the regular route in the winter, there's a lot of snow, ice, and such, and the terrain is more difficult. And this duck coming toward me thinks I'm going to feed him. But so they have a more southern route that is less snowing. Still cold though. It's not that much further south. Maybe I will post a picture of the map that just gave me. And by the way, let me turn the camera around. I have my Camino de Santiago hat. So I'm a peregrino. Pilgrim. Hey, pilgrim. Buen camino. Es lo que dicen durante el Camino de Santiago. So technically, I have walked the Camino. Like 6 feet of it. Actually, that bridge is part of it, so probably about 2/3 of it, or 200 feet of it. All right, we are now walking the Camino de Santiago. There's a shell there. Another view of the old bridge. I'll look up and see how old that bridge is. Looks pretty old. Okay, we're still in Monforte de Lemos. This is the Colegio de la Nuestra Señora de la Antigua, which means the College of Our Lady of the Old. Don't know why it says that, but inside there's an altarpiece that's being restored or celebrated for being 400 years old by Galician sculptor Maure. And all right, here's a view up close of the Colegio de Nuestra Señora Antigua, and there's that torre, that tower that's there is where we are staying at the Parador. Let me zoom in a little bit. See, the Royal College of Nuestra Señora de la Antigua. So in case you thought I was kidding or something. And look at the year, 1593. All right, taking a little walk through the garden to the little bridge we saw over here. Oh, that's wet. All right, let's walk across that bridge. Oh. I think they think you're feeding them. Here we are on the Camino de Santiago. Yes, he's scooting the Camino de Santiago. He's the scooter of Santiago. Well, thanks for joining us as we toured Monforte de Lemos at the Parador, the streets, and the food. We got more coming. We got some tours of the Ribeira Sacra, which is the region around Monforte de Lemos, on our way to another Parador, which is quite a marvel. So stay tuned for that. That'll be out shortly. See you in a little bit.